Hi, Tiana. Wow, I think that this article and your video made me think of something of two things that I hadn't normally piggybacked together, but you did a beautiful job at highlighting it for me to see it in a way. And you married the need for social welfare policy with mass incarceration. And we've studied those two things separately, but I've never really joined them together in my mind. And so when I watched your video today and you referenced the 1980s and 1990s and how that time in Oakland there was mass incarceration was kind of rampant and the normal practice. And then you talked a little bit about how someone else got into office and they had a different approach on giving people second chances and restorative justice and whatnot. And now you're saying currently there's another trend in Oakland where they're going towards mass incarceration again. And that got me thinking, okay, so that's a similar like ebb and flow to social welfare policy, and they like the mass incarceration cycles that you're speaking of and the time frames also flow with social welfare reform. So in the 90s and 80s and 90s they were taking away funding for for social welfare policy, and then I feel like they got better. And now I feel like we're going through another spell of social welfare reform where they're wanting to take money away again. And it feels like there's just this like pattern where they're connected. And whenever social welfare reform is happening and they're pulling away, the response to that is mass incarceration. And then when it upcycles and there's an uptick in funding for social welfare policies, then they take the restorative justice and rehabilitation outlook or viewpoint from it. And then you go back to defunding and mass incarceration. And it seems to be like with everything else, this cyclical nature. And you helped me see that for the first time. I mean, I don't know the accuracy of what I'm saying. I'm just remembering Ronald Reagan and Bush and all of the stuff that we were learning about what was happening in that time. So I could be wrong, but you're making me think about that in another way. Your question on what we can do. I want to give the textbook answer and say we got to find some institutional and residual programs that address these things so that people can have what they need. Bottom line, I do believe that most people are good people. And when people do bad things, it usually comes, from my opinion, in a moment of desperation, whatever that maybe look like for that person, either emotionally, financially, physically. Like nobody like is sitting there thinking, let me see what I can do to get myself put in jail. I mean, of course, there are some people who would rather be in jail. And I think that's just, again, a testament to like how dire the situation is for some people. I think we need to address I don't know how to address it because we can't get people to agree. And that makes me feel really sad. So I don't know if that's an answer to the question, but I just wanted to communicate what you highlighted for me. And I wanted to try to answer your question by saying that I think there needs to be some residual or institutional programs put in place. What that looks like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm involved in the education system and I see the systemic racism that happens there. I see the difference in resources depending on what the district your school happens to fall in. I see it so clearly. And the answer's not quite so easy. So hopefully we'll see an uptick, another cycle coming in soon where we see people start to see the importance of these programs and the investment into our future.